Hello. What do you mean, why? Why am I up late? Better question is, why are you guys up late? Thoughts? Hello. Welcome. Happy New Year, everyone. Yup. It is New Year for some people. Yeah, that's why I'm up late, right? It's because it's New Year. Yup. Not because I have nothing better to do. It's because I missed the stream earlier today. I've got to make up for it, so let's do something crazy. Why not? I mean, you guys know me already. Some of you at least. I sleep at like 4. So it's fine. Yeah, that's right. I will be up celebrating New Year with the homies in Southeast Asia. Thoughts? Yeah, definitely didn't think of that. Oops. Alright. I want to try my best to just try to be consistent on Commercy for at least a week. If I can be consistent on Commercy for a week or 2, I can start force up some extra stuff on this Kana. I need to make some more Philosopher Stones, but I haven't really gone around to doing that. I'm a little lazy. Just a little bit. But yeah, probably just gonna be chilling for the next couple of hours, because yeah, I just felt like doing something. Thought it'd be fun to do a random stream at a time that I don't usually stream. I don't have my webcam on at the moment because it's a little dark in my room. I don't think you guys will see very much because it is late. So I'm just chilling. We'll be back to scheduled programming in the morning, but right now it's somewhat of a vibe, you know? Just chill. Not really much to say. I just felt like playing my Kana. Working on the recently. My hero is in a really good spot right now as well, so I want to put some effort into this Kana. Okay. Let's go storage. I have a lot of these random coupons. Let's grab these. Yeah, Tilda, is it an early stream or is it a really late stream? Thoughts? Alright. Let's use some of these guys for fun. Why not? Let's make some of these guys. Swap to our training gear. Am I needing CPQ? Actually, I wouldn't mind CPQ. I haven't done CPQ today yet. Yo, Melvin, Tilda. Are the boys going sailing? Are we sailing? Is that what's happening? Are we actually sailing? Melbourne would have just woken up, no? I don't know how time zones work. Also, don't mind me just like drinking coffee at 2 AM. Caffeine does not really affect me. Going ready for work? Nah, it's okay then. Yeah, Tilda, the crew's not sailing today. Not this reset at least. Alright. So Pekko has convinced me to farm on this map on my Kana instead of the other one. Because apparently this map has burning. Yeah, look at that. 80 burning? Hello? That's some good stuff. And it's pretty good on Kana. I can dusk farm here very comfortably. I'm actually like barely not doing enough damage here. Yeah, some of them are just like barely surviving. Maybe I should have Star Forced a little bit more on my damage. I mean, my drop gear. Hello, Shax. Welcome. You know, this is a pretty good time for the EU guys, right? Is that how it works? Yeah, my Dusk is just ever so slightly not strong enough to one-tap. It's 10 AM for you in Canada? Nice. So then, I guess for EU, it'd be almost like a 12-hour difference for me. So it's like towards the end of their workday sort of thing. Yeah, we're just chilling anyway. Just farming a little bit. Working on my fams. Hopefully I get a large drop. Like, that's all it is. Nothing from rerolls. Not large drop. I got my 3rd damage fam on my Kana. So I have a 30 boss, I have a 40 boss, and now I also have a 6 magic attack. So technically I have 3, but I don't think I can use it at the moment because my Kana's IED is actually really low. I think my base IED is like 93% or something, so I'm using the 2 best. I think it's just the 2 boss damage fams and an IED fam at the moment. Because yeah, Kana just has like kind of low IED. Am I just farming right now? Yeah, I'm just chilling today. Not gonna do anything too interesting. Just gonna slowly recover the money that I spent on the Star Forcing event. If you guys are here who did the Star Forcing event, did you guys get up to much? I streamed my Star Forcing event too yesterday, which is usually what I don't do. I don't usually stream my Star Forcing events, but might make it more commonplace. Finish it for IED, but that only applies for the champs themselves. Unless this becomes a Legion champ, that's not happening. Yeah, this map is actually pretty chill. Peko showed me this map and it's kind of nice. Like, Dusk and Oni just clear everything. And it's the same fams I've been working on, so that's really nice. The only issue is like I'm just ever so slightly not one-shotting. How do I get Hero's Echo on this character? Do I have Hero's Echo? There's probably a quest for it that I haven't unlocked. Wild Hunter part-time. I mean, it's a pretty easy fix. I think I just put some event points into normal monster damage and it's done. Or honestly, just one more level of Sacred Force. And we're also chilling. But I don't really want to put event stats into that. Ooh, I just need 4 symbols. Do I have 4 symbols? Surely I got some from the Mystic Frontier. Yo, hang on. Yeah, look at this. I have random symbols. Oh my god, look at this. These 6 symbols are gonna make the difference for me. Look at this. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, game. Sonium. Alright. I think that actually might make the difference. Because then I'll be 5 levels above. That's like 10% FD, no? Or a little bit more? Something like that. Let's find out. that goes minus 200 mil. Okay, it's only 5% FD, right? Is that enough though? Alright, let's find out on the next wave. I have basically no buffs on right now. Some of them not dying still. That's alright. Got some nice gains, thank you. Yeah, I got some decent stuff going on for me. I did have a lot to spend. A lot of things blew up. Maybe not specifically on the hero, but there definitely a lot of things blew up over the course of the event. Guild attack buff? Yeah, but the problem with that is I'm gonna forget to press it. I might do that though, because we're getting kind of close to reset. I don't think I'm gonna end up using all of it anyway. Honestly, Echo will probably help as well, if I can figure out how to unlock Echo. Transfer 22, source blew up on your first roll? Ah, unlucky man. You also got Incarna? Nice, congrats. 76 bill, 19 star for Eternal Hat. Yeah, it's just the Eternals are just expensive. It's because like the 18 to 19 and then 19 to 20 stars, really expensive. And then, not to mention safeguarding 17 to 18, it's so expensive. And if you get even like remotely stuck, it drains your money so fast. I don't know what the number is from 17 to 18, but like what, you're probably gonna safeguard it, right? You safeguard 17 to 18 for an Eternal. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 700 mil per tap or something stupid like that. And you could reasonably spend like 20 taps and still not tear up. Up to 18, right? That's already 20 bill. let's say 20 taps at 700 mil, so that's 14 bill to get from 17 to 18 if you get unlucky. Right, at a 15%. You could fail that 20 times in a row. You really could. That's already 14 bill, and that's 1 star. Yeah, Eternals are just really expensive. But yeah, you're done. It's rough. It's just the Eternal numbers. It's just expensive. I mean, 19 to 20, for example, is 1 bill. It's 15% success rate. On event, I think it's like 7% chance to boom. So, on average, you're probably tapping at least 10 to 15 times before something happens. I mean, 10 to 15 times, that's 10 to 15 bill from 19 to 20. It's pretty gross. It's very expensive. I don't think that the numbers are bad per se, but because of the nature of such low numbers, you do have bad streaks of variance sometimes. Like, yeah, 15% is not a very high number to succeed. And that's not even taking into account like the chances of it blowing up. Carlos gave you a box that said minus 13 bill. All good. Try again next time, I guess. That's okay. 13 bill, I'd say, is like on the... You kind of got off cheap, in my opinion. Ain't no way I'm streaming at this time. Well, it depends on where you are too. Like, are you in the same time zone as me? If the answer to that is yes, then why are you awake? Yep. Thoughts? The only people that can call me out are the people on the other side of the world. Look, it's not that late until the sun starts showing up. You're awake because you're bossing with someone else on the side of the world. You think that's a good enough excuse? You're in Adelaide? Alright, you're slightly better off than I am. Slightly. What's the offset from Adelaide to Melbourne? It's like half an hour? I don't know if you guys have daylight savings. So it could be like 1.5 hours. I guess if it's 1.5 hours, it's not that bad. Because then you guys would be at like 1 a.m. It's not that bad. Cheap to get back to 18, yeah. 13 bill is not the worst, I'd say. Were you just trying to get it to 19, or were you going for 21? I'm kind of glad most of my Eternals are done on the characters I care about. Can I not eat all your burning? By the time that you wake up, Pekko, the burning will be back. Don't worry about it. Shout out to Pekko. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know about this map. He gave me this beautiful present that is burning. Self-inflicted. Yep. If I ever come to Adelaide, I could take a picture. I don't know why I'd be in Adelaide though. Maybe if I end up playing a tournament in Adelaide for some reason, then I could do that. But that's not gonna happen anytime soon. Yeah, I'm just chilling, farming fams, leveling up fams. Just keeping an eye on this one, and then hopefully we'll be able to get something good. I'm really hoping for a large drop. Large drop would be nice. If I get a large drop on the Kana, then I don't need to train fams anymore. Then I'd be like done. It has 3 good enough damage fams. It's just missing a large drop. I think ideally I would like to see large drop on all of my C10 mules. Just so, you know, get the copium drops. Copium drop rate. Have I tried out Hayato? I have not. Not that interested in making another character from scratch. My Kana was already level 260 or 268 when the remaster happened, so it was kind of nice. Already playing like a strong class. But I think I don't really have any interest in playing a Hayato unless it was hyper burned. I might be interested to play it, but as of right now, not really. Versus 20 seconds long? Yeah, it's pretty short, yeah. I mean, it's pretty condensed. However long this thing is. 15 seconds is like the main part of the burst with Haku and everything. And you have a bunch of ram skills that you just press within those 15 seconds as well. So yeah, the burst is pretty condensed. You get most of the good stuff out within the raw. You can get heroes in the light bulb tab. What's the quest name? I had a quick look and I couldn't find it. So thank you Dash for letting me know. Because this looks like... that looks like a story quest. That's the first one I saw. I don't see it at a glance, that's why I was like, yeah, I'll find it later. Because I know a lot of them, you just like accept the quest and you get your hero's echo. It's a job one. I'm hoping it's not locked behind the story quests, because there is a small chance that it is locked behind a story quest. In which case, I have not done any of the new story, so say it ain't so. It would be actually funny. What if I already had Hero's Echo? No, these are Echo, right? Locked behind story quest? Ah, there you go. Yeah, that'll explain why I can't see it. Because yeah, I was already level 265. I don't want to go do the story. Was it from Cronus? Yeah, I used to farm a lot on my Kana. I played this Kana during the times when Kana farmers were very popular. So I did actually farm a fair amount on this character. You know, given that information, I'm a little bit surprised that I never hit a large drop on this character. I'd argue that this character has farmed the most. Like, I've farmed the most on this character with the exception of perhaps my Cannon Master, because more recently I pushed my Cannon Master. And I say more recently, it's like within the last year. But for my Kana, I spent a lot of time just farming Meso. I do kind of miss those days a little bit. Being able to make like what? Like a bill an hour just farming Meso. Just standing in one spot putting down summons. Those were the times, man. So what are you guys up to? Hopefully you guys are doing well and had a good Star Forcing event. Are we all in Meso recovery moment? Or I guess maybe some people might even just be more savings moment. More savings is valid. It's almost level 5. Once it becomes level 5, I'll put in a new set of fams. Roomed 4 arcane gloves. 18 to 19. Yeah, it's rough sometimes. I had a lot of shoulders that were like that. Thankfully my gloves weren't that rude to me, but the shoulders on a lot of my characters. I still can't believe the worst one. The one on my Blaze Wizard was by far the worst one. How many shoulders was that? Like 13 or 14 shoulders to get it to 21? You hit 6 attack, 20 boss? Ooh, congrats on your hybrid. Mind you though, I wasn't safeguarding any of them, so the number is like not super crazy. I also did a lot of that off event, or like I did it on the 30% Meso event as opposed to the 30% Boom event. So let's assume we had a 30% cut. Maybe realistically instead of 14 it would have been around 10, but even 10 is a lot for 21 stars I think. But I wasn't safeguarding, so it is what it is. Just don't think about it too much. You know, if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't go, just we'll try again next time. How much did I spend? I spent like 160 bill over the last Star Forcing event. Very, very good amount of money, and I got like pretty good gains, I'd say. It's a very, very worthwhile 160 bill. Because actually, in terms of my hero and my Kana, I think between those two characters, I probably spent a collective of like 80 bill, which actually is like not that much in the grand scheme of things. I spent most of the rest of the money blowing up stuff on my other characters, because I had a lot of CFEs and belts that were laying around, and we actually tapped those, which is kind of funny. All the CFEs that I tried to go, I think almost all of them went to 22. One of them went to 21 and then died. But, yeah, got a couple CFEs to 22, then I blew up like 6 belts in return for that, so I don't know how I feel about that. It's been like an ongoing joke on my channel since I started streaming full time, and it's just every time that we see a belt, everyone just laughs at me, because I'm so ungrateful about those belts. Now, almost all of my characters need a belt, and I don't think I'm ever going to see a belt again. I'm going to be very sad. It's like you're ungrateful for the drops when it happens, but when you start needing them, they just won't drop. So yeah, it's gonna take me a while. And of course the one character that does have a 22 star belt can't wear it, so funny how Maple Story works. Star Force is probably the worst system in the game. Yeah, the problem with it is just the recovery of the items. That's a big problem with it. Like, if they really wanted to, like, have a break mechanic, like the item breaking and stuff, it would have been nice to be able to keep it at the star that it's at. It doesn't feel good going backwards, right? Like, there's ways if they really wanted to keep star forcing in a similar fashion how it is, where like you're kind of gambling your gains and you have a small chance of breaking the item. It really shouldn't set you backwards. Like, if they just disabled the item, so then it was just locked on whatever star and like potentials or what it is. It just gets locked and you can't make any further changes to it until you restore it. At least you wouldn't feel bad for going backwards, right? You get stuck on it, but you won't go backwards. Or you see if he's made it further than your belts. I did get one belt to 20. One of the belts made it to 20. I think it was my Xenon's belt made it to 20. That's okay. I mean, I'll take 22 CFEs. Like, finishing up pitch on characters is always kind of nice, regardless of whether or not it's useful. It's always like a bit of a feels bad though, because it's always a question of, man, what if it was the other item, you know? Like, you blow up a bunch of pitch, like let's say you blow up like an eye patch and a Zerk or an ET or something, and then you just tap a random belt and it goes 22. You're like, would it be nice if it was the other way around? Would it be nice if it was the other way around? Praying for CFEs. I mean, it's not the worst thing to drop, because at the end of the day, at least for CFEs, if you get spares, you know, maybe you can go for 23 star, you know? That's 23 star CFE on a mule. Could be kind of cool. It's just a little bit of a tall ask, you know, just a little bit. Where's your ET? It's been 1.5 years. One day, dude. One day. I wonder if I can level up today. Turning into JH is a crazy comm. Oh. Yeah, I am really just trying to save for the next Star Forcing event though. I have like another few characters that can finish up some bosses. I don't think I've done bosses on my Xenon. I haven't done all of my bosses on my Cannon Master. I think I still have like Easy Adversary to do, for example. So that should take like 5 minutes to do. It's not too bad. What else? I still have one of the Blaze Wizards and maybe the Marksman. I don't remember if I ran on my Marksman this week. Maybe I did. Didn't know I stream in the evening? Nah, this is a once-off thing. Just for fun. I missed my stream earlier today because I was out with my wife. We were just doing some errands and just hanging out. Because she took a day off. And now I don't know, I just felt like streaming. And you know, I'm not doing anything particularly interesting, but I kind of just missed it. You know, when I was younger, I didn't really understand, like, I know a lot of people, they kind of get bored if they don't work. I'm sure people who are a bit older are like that. I feel like my parents would get bored, for example, if they didn't work. I kind of felt that. Oh no, I'm getting old. It's a bit weird to say that, considering like calling MapleStory a job unironically is like, you know, I'm not sure how I should feel about that, but it's kind of true. Happy New Year for those who are celebrating. True. Happy New Year. Anything special for Valentine's Day? Nah, we don't usually celebrate Valentine's Day. We don't do anything in particular. Moderating this chat's your full-time job? Alright, mate. It's not really much moderation to do, thankfully. So you just chill here. Pop in every once in a while. I'll say like usually... Oh, I forgot to swap my fams out. Too busy yapping about nothing. But yeah, thankfully you guys are pretty chill. For the most part. Every once in a while you get like... a few oddballs, but... you guys are pretty chill. So farming on a normal stream time? I must have just gotten home. I did get home like at, you know, a couple hours after my stream start time. That's probably when you saw me. So Tilda, are you gonna join me in this map now? For the most part, yeah. You get some weirdos every once in a while, like this Gibson guy. Yeah, he's a strange one. But nah, it's all good. It's all good. I will say, I think just my general experience with chatting with people on stream and interacting with people, like in-game as well, it's been, for the most part, pretty pleasant, which is kind of nice. Almost lucky in a way. Because I know not all the time when there's definitely a group of people who are, you know, a lot less polite when it comes to talking to certain content creators. Like, look, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a chunk of people who just didn't like my content and just hate on my content, but, you know, it is what it is. The internet is like that. But at least for me, it feels like it's pretty tame. I think the things that people get mad about or get upset about when it comes to my content is like less about me for the most part and more about the game itself. Because I mean the most common thing is like the star forcing, right? I understand that a lot of people do get upset when other people hit. When they had a not so great event themselves. All I can really say to that though is, you know, obviously for me, I try to show all the stuff that I do, but for the most part, I do keep most of the good stuff that happens, because like seeing me blow up a bunch of items can get kind of boring. I keep it in sometimes if it's like particularly bad and it's kind of funny, but it's easier for me to edit videos when I just keep all the stuff that's like actually interesting. Massive gains? I don't know if you can call it massive, but I did spend a lot of money. Whoa, it's Asti. Hello. First time chatter on YouTube, Twitch. Wait, what? Not Twitch. YouTube stream. W. Midnight? Yeah, midnight. Yeah, let's say midnight. Also, I decided not to stream on Twitch today because I didn't want to break people's streaks. This is like an unusual stream time. I didn't want to break anybody's streak. Spend close to 170 bill. Yeah, I mean, I did hit with 170 bill. I would hope that I hit some stuff. I mean, I did get some decent gains. I got like, I finished 4 different arcanes within that. I got a few 22s for fodders, which was good. I finished a bunch of random sup items across my characters. I'd say overall it was a pretty good event. I blew up what, at least 8 different pitch, but I hit 2 of them to 22. So you know, 2 out of 10. That's not a bad rate, honestly. It's not a bad rate. I'll take a 2 out of 10. It's just it's a bit goofy that like the 2 that hit were CFEs and everything that blew up was belts. How much do I make weekly from my bosses? Roughly 70 bill, roughly. If I finish all of them and I'm diligent, it'll be 70 bill. If I'm lazy, which I usually am, it's probably closer to 60. If I had to guess. Wobbleup's belt would have went if it tapped it. The rule with the belts for me is that I will not tap my belts unless I have a 22 CFE. There's no point wearing the belt if I don't have a 22 CFE. The belt, like the sub belt, is just too good. The sub belt stats are just too good. It's too hard to replace. That's why I told everyone, like, you guys want to see me tap more pitch, and you guys want to see me tap belts and stuff like that. You guys have to wish well on the CFE first. Am I in Chronos or Hyperion? I'm in Hyperion. Yeah, I realized that I don't have that actually on my YouTube stream. Usually I have it up there. Thank you for the reminder. You know, I'm gonna actually start leaving that in my thing. The exception is timey. Yeah, that is like my mech is literally the only exception, and the way that happened in the first place was very kind of stupid. Because what I literally one tap boomed my ET 18 to 19. The CFE eventually died and the belt just went 22. I was like, alright, cool. Thank you, game, for the 22 belt that will probably never be used because my mechanic's unlucky. Oh well, it's like lucky in some way. In some ways, it's mostly unlucky. Unlucky to me. 10C tennies? Ah, you know what? That's spot on. It actually is 10C tennies. You got the number exactly right. That's quick math right there. It's probably closer to like... It's because my C10 mules, so some of them also run things like N-Seren, E-Carlos, E-Adversary, so the money kind of adds up. Alright, let's see what we get, guys. Let's see what we get. It's a little bit of goofing around. Would really like to see a 100 drop rate. I got excited there for a second, then I realized it was on the bottom line. I'll also take boss damage if we happen to hit that. That's kind of cool too. But I kind of want the 100% drop rate the most. Come on, show us a percent sign. Nope, I'm turning red instead. Oops. You need a guild? You can join like any of the Blue House guilds if you like. We do play mostly on OCE time though. So if you're in like Southeast Asia to OCE, that's when the guild is often most active. Otherwise, yeah, you can feel free to join anyway. Ooh, 100 burning. W Pecco. Mind breaking down how to get 70 bill. So I have at least 4 characters that make 8 bill a week, roughly. So that's already 32 bill. So that's out of the 4 characters. And then across the last 6, they make like 5-ish. So yeah. And then I'm also I technically also have my marksman, which adds another 5 bill, and my second blaze wizard, which actually also adds another 5 bill. So maybe it's 32 plus 40. Yeah, that's the split. 4 characters that do E-Adversary and below, so that's 8 bill each character, and then another 8 characters that do about 5 bill each, which is another 40. So yeah, about 70. Yeah, so the weekly income for bosses, roughly 70 bill if I'm not completely lazy. In terms of farming, I don't actually know. It's very inconsistent with my farming. Sometimes I get like really motivated and I whap like a couple hours a day. And sometimes I'll do like 3 hours across the week. It really just depends on how I feel. So the farming meso amount is pretty inconsistent. Okay, I need to get some more coupons after. What's my weekly income IRL? That's crazy. I wouldn't know. I've considered doing a WAP and talk kind of thing a week. I have considered doing that, but I feel like for me personally, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know very much about anything. I honestly think that the only thing I really have some kind of an understanding about is like TCGs, and it's kind of very specific TCGs at that. But I have considered like doing stuff like that, kind of in like a podcast sort of thing. But for these sorts of things to work out and be worth the time, I think everybody really has to be on the same page. I think logistically for me, I'd be too lazy to set something up like that. Not super interested personally on doing anything like that, although I have considered it in the past. More recently though, probably not. You found streams through the Blaze Wizard? Ah, nice. Yeah, I haven't really updated anything on some of the other characters, because I get distracted very easily. Look, I got a brand new toy. I got this new Kana remaster. I gotta play it. And then what's gonna happen after? After the Kana remaster? Oh my god, Wild Hunter remaster. And then I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna get fixated on the Wild Hunter for a while, which actually I'm kinda looking forward to. Because if the Wild Hunter remaster happens and I'm enjoying the character, I can push it to E-Adversary too. Which would be like getting it to 280. The gear is already pretty much done. I'm missing maybe 1 or 2 FAMs for like ideal damage FAMs, which isn't too bad. I have the cards to go for it, I just haven't really trained the character. And then the fragments, you know, I'll get there eventually. Is the full-time content creator more sustainable? Sustainable in a different way. I've talked about this in the past about me working or doing content creation full-time. The money definitely lower than your average full-time job, right? Let's not sugarcoat it. It's definitely lower. But the things that I try to do to make up for it, because I do, like, my wife and I own a house, right? So obviously there's like bills involved and our mortgage and costs of living, like buying groceries and all that sort of stuff. Obviously with my lower income now, it's a little bit tighter, but the way that I think about it and the way that my wife is like really happy to work around this is that I have significantly more time. So a lot of the things that my wife and I had to split in terms of like responsibilities around the house, just getting errands done and stuff like that, I take that responsibility, right? Because I have significantly more time. I don't have any like time constraints for the most part. Look, I guess I have time constraints when I stream on my regular schedule, but that's like anywhere between 3 and 5 hours a day, and it's pretty lax. I could like stream for 3 hours and go get things done, or like stream later. It's extremely flexible. So I try to take the burden off of like thinking about things off of my wife, so she does her usual work, and the moment that she finishes work, that's it. Like, she doesn't have to think about anything else. Obviously, you know, I'm human, so I'll forget things, so she'll probably still do things around the house or tell me to do things, but, you know, for the most part, it's just like her work-life balance is like completely separate, because she doesn't have to worry about anything outside of work. So that's the trade-off. It comes at a cost in some ways though. Obviously, lower income, we can't, you know, spend as much money. Sometimes months get a little bit expensive depending on bills, but for the most part, it's been good so far. And for me, I don't think that I'll get a chance to do something like this again. The moment I decide to stop streaming, decide to stop making content, there's a 0% chance I'll come back to it. I think. Unless like a miracle happens and then like it leads into something, or I get really lucky and then suddenly like my channel goes viral or something like that. It's probably not going to happen again. So I'm taking this opportunity to do some stuff for a few years, and then, you know, I can always stop whenever, when we actually need to move on with our lives, and I can just find a normal job afterwards. If anything, I mean, I'm already pretty aware that I'm in a lucky position when it comes to being able to do content creation full time. Like, it's not something that you can randomly drop a full-time job. Like, just for context, I worked as a IT consultant, so it's a massive pay cut to say the least. But it was a mix of a lot of things. Like, I had the opportunity to do this. The revenue was good enough to like kind of justify it. And I was kind of miserable in my old job. I realized I wasn't really cut out for consulting. So yeah, we just went for this gamble. I guess you could call it a gamble. And yeah, wasn't really possible without like all the support. And turns out a lot of people, as long as you guys enjoy the content, that's all it really is, right? Yeah. I don't know how long I'll be continuing to do this. I do really enjoy it. But if it gets to the point where obviously we need the money for things, this full-time content creation obviously is probably not going to be fully sustainable. Like, if we decide to have kids, there's like a 0% chance I'd be doing this full-time. I gotta feed a kid now. Gotta pay for more things, you know. It's different. But as of right now, it's just me and my wife. It's very easy to control our finances between us, so as long as she's happy with the quality of life and all the things I can kind of help out with, then that's all it really is. I think it would have been a lot more of a problem if I decided to drop my previous job and then pick up full-time content creation, and then was like, you know, this was my life. And outside of streaming and making the videos, I was just, you know, not really helping around the house or something like that, then we'd have trouble, right? I didn't want it to be like, I wanted to make sure that she wasn't burdened by anything around the house. That was the biggest thing. And wherever I could make her work days easier, I would make sure to put that as a priority. That was like a really big one. Let's see my thoughts on different aspects of the games, like guides. I kind of have thought about that. I think for me, making guides, again, this is something I'm like pretty transparent about as well. Like, I feel like other people make better guides than I do, and I find it personally intimidating to try to do something like that. But maybe I should. I don't know, it's just a bit of a mental hurdle. Ever considered Patreon? The thing about Patreon, like, technically I could set something up, but I'd feel bad putting up a Patreon if I couldn't like have anything to give back, you know? Usually for me, when I think of Patreon, because I come from like a card game background, when I think of Patreons, I think of people writing up guides and like more, I don't know what the right word is, like useful, extra benefits. I guess the closest thing is on YouTube. I have my membership program, and on Twitch, you can subscribe, like Twitch subs, right? That's probably the closest thing. So, yeah. I think that's probably as much as I'd do in terms of like a paid membership, because I think it'd feel wrong for MapleStory to have like a paid membership for something that like I can't give more to. Show my style, not explicitly a guide. Yeah. Again, for me, it's just like definitely a mental barrier. I've been telling myself I really wanted to like showcase my account, and I've just like kind of, I don't know, I've just been going in circles about it, and I haven't really gotten around to making it. You could buy a vac pet as a business expense. Technically, I could. Technically. I don't know how it falls under Australian tax practices about digital goods for work, but if I applied as a business, there is probably a world where that can be tax deductible. I don't know how it works. Yeah. I think the thing, yeah, to some extent, Red, or like what Red said is kind of right as well. There's one of the things about content creation. I don't know how the other creators do this or like how they process it, but like there is a big part of being a creator, and people will always try to backseat or try to give input, right? Whether or not it comes from a good place is a different question. Let's say like for the most part, everybody's like, you know, pretty helpful about it. Like for me, it does like start adding up mentally. Sometimes you will have people that disagree with you, and it does get a little bit like tiring to respond to some of these things. And there's just also random negativity that comes around from making these sorts of guides. I think that's why I don't really mind making my current style of videos. Suits the way that I work, just because it's very obvious that it's my style. And I feel like for the guys who are doing guides, they've already kind of made a name for themselves, so that their words have a little bit more weight. I feel like if I went into trying to do something like this, everybody will just... If I have a differing opinion or style on something, I feel like there will be a good chunk of comments that basically say like, isn't this other way better? And I don't know if I can be bothered dealing with that. Right. And then that thought puts me off of making these sorts of videos. Then I get inside my own head. Like more recently, I've had struggles with making videos just because I don't have a structure on my channel, which is like the hard part. It was a lot easier when I had a very clear-cut goal with what I wanted to do. That's why the Ren series I uploaded pretty quickly, and during that time, I think a lot of people did end up joining as members, which was like really, really cool. Because I have a tier of memberships where you can join for $1 Australian. It's like the lowest possible amount. I made that years ago. And the benefit for all of my members is that you can see the videos as soon as I upload them. Sometimes I stagger my uploads, so then, you know, you can't see them immediately. But as a member, as soon as I upload them, which might be 2 or 3 videos at a time, depending on what I'm doing, you can see everything at once. And I saw a lot of people join as members, and that was really cool to see. It made me feel like the content that I was making was worthwhile for people to pay to see ahead. That was probably the coolest thing. But that only really works because I had a very specific goal in mind. Whereas if I tried to make guides and stuff like that, I feel like I would get stuck. I feel like I'm not very structured to make content like that. It's just not fully my style. But I do appreciate that though, Shax. I know a lot of people have told me this in the past too, where they're just curious on, I guess, my thoughts on various things in the game, which I think is fair. But for me, I'm just, I don't know, in the nicest way possible, I'm a bit of a coward. I think that's the best way to put it. Making new content and branching into new things is scary to me. Yeah, actually, I have talked to JH about this every once in a while, being like, man, what do I do with my channel? And he has like some good ideas, and some like, you know, I've had this conversation with my wife too. Like, she knows nothing about MapleStory, and you know, she'll give me input on things that I could do, and I consider it, and then I just get scared off from doing it because, yeah, change is scary. For me, at least, it's a bit spicy for me. But every once in a while, I do just like go through with it right now it's like I'm trying to get into making more videos of just the characters I've been working on, like my hero. That one was a bit of like just try not to think about it too much. Just put something out there. And yeah, just work from there. Right, let's see what we get. Large drop? Nope, that is definitely not large drop. Account reviews are probably more value added than guides, because Maple's pretty solved. Yeah, that's pretty valid. I think that's a pretty fair take on the game. I do agree that like Maple Story is kind of a bit of a solved game at the moment. In the sense where like Star Forcing is kind of the same. A lot of the upgrading systems you follow like as kind of a set path. Item progressions following a set path. I don't disagree. I feel like the content is very limited in that sense. Thought of making a video where you showcase your characters. That's what I was talking about before. Like I was going to do that and just make, I guess technically 10 different videos of all of like my mules and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to make one big one because I feel like that'd just be too much footage to go through. That is logistically just a lot of footage to record and go through. But I wouldn't have minded doing just something small, like maybe showcase the Corsair, for example, and then maybe showcase, I don't know, my Wild Hunter. I think it would make a lot more sense though to do that in March, so I'm holding off from that. I think what I'm next going to upload is probably actually my Kana's prog that I've done over the last couple of weeks, because I think I actually have enough footage now to like kind of show the progress of the character. I have most of the things recorded, But I think the showcase thing, I'll hold off until at least March, because that's when we're about to get the class balance patches. So the classes will probably play a little bit differently. Wife content 0 to hero. As cool as the concept is, unfortunately my wife is not very interested in playing Maple. We did used to play Maple Story together during like the COVID times when we were just like stuck at home. She did actually join me and play a lot of Maple with me, but she's no longer interested in Maple Story. Thanks for the content, hard work. I appreciate that, Yuki. I'm glad that you guys enjoy the content. As long as people find it helpful, that's all I can really ask for. It always like brings me a bit of joy when I'm sharing like my prog for something and somebody says, "Oh wow, I didn't know you could do this. Thank you for this." And I'm like, "Oh, that's +1 to me." Gives me a little bit of like a nice feeling. Do you think they'll nerf Kana and Hayato? I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I don't think they will. I don't think anyone would be surprised if Kana and Hayato get nerfed in some aspect, but I don't think that they will. It'd be pretty crazy for them to like heavily nerf the classes or something like that. Maybe they'll adjust some of the numbers because it does seem a little bit high at the moment in comparison to the other classes, but maybe they'll just leave it as it is, bring across the balance patch, and then do another balance patch later on. I feel like GMS rarely gets like double patches like that. Whenever they buffed the old like non-KMS classes previously, they often didn't touch them on the big patches except for like minor fixes. So we'll probably see the current version of Hayato and Kana for a little bit longer. How do you feel about doing my thoughts on various aspects of the game? I like the idea actually of that. I feel like I kind of missed the ball on some things, but maybe I'll do it anyway. I know one of the things that like has plagued our community for the most part is like everyone's thoughts on the Star Forcing system. I think that it's a very valid complaint about Star Forcing. It's a very valid complaint because conceptually the idea of like going back in progress is not very good. But I think if you want to play a game like this and you genuinely enjoy Maple Story, you can't have that kind of mindset. What are my thoughts on the Star Forcing system? Alright, this guy's just rage baiting me. L mod. Am I the only one who thinks that exclusive classes being above the rest makes sense, gives you a reason to play them? I think... I agree to some extent. I think that maybe not just exclusive classes, I just want all the classes to be good. I don't like the fact that certain classes are so clearly worse than like a bunch of them. It's like there's just like a big tier of the bottom classes, you know what I mean? I wish they like closed the gap a little bit more. I think in a game like MapleStory, it doesn't like fully make sense to do that just because it's not like you really have a choice on what region you play in for the most part. Like you'd have to VPN in and out of different servers if you wanted to play specific things. I do agree though, if like there were different server incentives, like that would make a lot of sense. But I think for MapleStory, they should just like try to make all the classes feel good to play in general. Like it shouldn't be the case where certain classes are just straight up so much better than the others that there's a clear class discrepancy in terms of damage. They are doing better for that though, I will say that much. Like the gap between the best classes and lowest classes is definitely closing. Not as bad as it was before, but it's still pretty big. Giving opinions, the pushback, yeah. That's definitely part of the reason why the thought of me, like, when I think about pushing different content, that's the thing that scares me a little bit. Because every once in a while, I do get comments on my existing videos where like people complain about stuff, or they don't agree with something I say. And you know, this is like across a lot of different aspects. It's not unusual for the internet to like have a few people who just have some thoughts about, you know, whatever. Like, I try not to think about it too much, but it does, like, bother me to some extent. Like, I'm not immune to, like, these sorts of comments. It's a bit different if it's criticism. Like, I can take constructive criticism. That's fine. But there are sometimes comments that really put me off and set me off in a bad mood for a while. So, yeah. I know how I feel about that sort of, like, I wouldn't say negativity is the right word, but like people being discontent with certain things. I'm not like fully good with it. I want to claim the gift. I've already claimed the gift. This is the stuff from storage, so don't worry. You're right. Don't worry about your anxiety. This is from like the storage bug, I guess. You know, when like we couldn't like access it. Those are the things that expired. For these MVPs, they're just gonna expire again. Like, 34 of them expired. I'm gonna get another 34 back, and they're gonna expire again. That's just how it's gonna happen. Share the comments specifically. A lot of the times when I actually look up to a few other content creators. I can't name any of them off the top of my head, but I watch interviews from big content creators and how they deal with this sort of thing, because who better to look at than people who actually deal with this like on an hourly, if not less, basis, right? For me, it's like every time I upload, I have a small chance that somebody disagrees with me. So I look into like bigger content creators and see how they deal with this sort of stuff. And one of the things that a lot of people say, they're just like, well, if I see a bad comment, I just delete the comment. I'm just, why deal with the negativity, right? Just remove it. Hide them from your channel. You don't need to see it. I don't need to see it. Right? So a lot of these sorts of things, if you guys look into the comment section, they probably don't exist, because I do go out of my way to remove them. I don't need to see it. And a lot of the times it's just people, the ones that I actually remove tends to be like people either giving criticism that's not like constructive, or it's just like, I don't know, it's just, they're just either berating people or me for not agreeing with something. I just find it really, I don't know, counterproductive is the best word for me at least. It just seems kind of productive to leave comments like that. Like, there's no point me responding to them because I feel like anyone who goes out of the way to respond like that, probably they're not going to change their mind about anything. I'll say though, like I probably over the last 2 years deleted maybe 10 comments, right? So it's not that frequent. 10 comments across 2 years is like not very much. But even those 10 comments just put me in a bad mood for like a week. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I do appreciate that. Like, I try not to let it get to me, but just every once in a while, I think it's just people are not very because it's mostly anonymous. People will just say whatever they want. That's what it is, right? They don't care about your feelings. Nobody cares about being mindful or considerate when they type comments if they're in that like kind of mindset. If they don't like something, they're just gonna tell people that they don't like it and they're just gonna mouth off. And those are the comments that really put me off and I just ignore them. How do I feel about being responsible for Jet's deletion? You know, if I was responsible for Jet's deletion, I'd probably be held very, very highly for all the people who played Jet. Yep. Now, all memes aside, the Jet was in a pretty bad spot. So I think at the time that it got deleted, I was pretty happy. it was that bad. I do miss the class, but god, that class was so garbage. Yeah. I think early on, before I did this full time, I took it a lot worse. The most common complaints that I like kind of removed because not all the time, it happens every once in a while, but there's a lot of people who complain that I get lucky, right? Well, that's just the nature of making these sorts of videos. Like, people will always compare their luck, especially because MapleStory is like essentially a gacha game, right? Like, it's just a big gambling simulator when it comes to your gear. So people will always complain about me getting lucky about stuff. That doesn't bother me. Like, that's the game. Any content creator in a random gambling simulator will have people complaining about their luck or about the video or whatever. It's the ones where they complain in a very unproductive way. The ones that like set me off were like, oh, this video or series is garbage because you just got lucky or like RNG carried. Like, it's like those sorts of comments. Those are the ones I ended up deleting a lot. Like, look, I don't mind if people complain to me about RNG. It happens all the time in my streams, right? Look, you guys, it's normal to be upset about losing. That's how it is, right? If you have a bad star forcing event, there's nothing we can do about it, right? But it's okay. People complain. I'm happy to hear people complain. It's just how star forcing is. It's another thing to be like, oh, I had a bad star forcing event. You had a good star forcing event, but because I had a bad one and you had a good one, your content's garbage. It's like, what? What is the relation? How does that even work? Like, does it make you feel better? I don't know. You're so lucky. Prog series unrelatable. Like, what do you want from me? But yeah, I'd be lying if I said that like I just brushed it off. I mean, I did have a very obvious struggle with my own conceptions of how I wanted to do my series. One of the ones was highly to do with my black hearts. I don't know if you guys remember this part in my Battle Mage series in particular, if you guys watched that one. But there was a period of time where I was like, I don't know what I wanted to do with the black hearts. Because technically, I had a few black hearts drop. I also had a eye patch drop, and I was just thinking to myself, do I even use these black hearts? Will I feel bad about using a black heart, which is not part of standard progression? Like, you have to get lucky to get a black heart, and I was, you know, kind of tossing about, do I use this thing? And then somebody said something. I wish I knew exactly who it was, but one person in my stream chat said, well, hypothetically speaking, if you got a raw 4 from a boss, would you use it? Because it's kind of the same thing. And I was thinking to myself at the time, and I was like, man, you're right. If I got a raw 4, I would use it, no questions asked. So I shouldn't feel bad about using my own luck. But the fact that like I even considered like not using my items because I felt bad about it, like kind of shows you that, Yeah, some of those comments did get to me. I can't really help it. Happy New Year. Oh, you too. Happy New Year. True. The hour ticked over for some people. Restart your series for more realistic luck. You know, to some extent, I'm actually kind of happy that my characters get bad luck on some cases. You know, makes me feel human in a way. Sometimes, because I've been playing this game long enough, I know what good and bad luck looks like. Right? Maybe I'm more familiar with this than anyone else who hasn't played as many hours in this game as I have. Like, don't worry, I'm pretty familiar with what is good and bad luck. But when it comes to the content, some part of me is always like, man, I hope I get bad luck, and then clear the content anyway. So then one, people won't complain about me getting lucky, and two, hopefully it pushes people to try the content without being also lucky, if that makes sense. Yeah. Luck on the belt is godly. Getting them is the easy part. Getting them to 22, not so much. I didn't have too much trouble getting the drop in the first place, and I had a lot of trouble getting them to 22 because they definitely did not get to 22. New BM series from scratch, no drop gear allowed. You know, there was like a bit of an unhinged idea that I had the other day. I was thinking, like, what if if I was to make a new series, I would like try to like add a new challenge. What would I even realistically do as a new challenge? And one of them was, what if I played MapleStory and never did any dailies? I think that was the idea. And I was just thinking to myself, is that even possible? Can I play this game without doing a single daily? I could do the weeklies, but could I possibly prog in MapleStory without touching a single daily? I did seriously consider that. And I think the answer is yes, but very slowly. It'd be like the most jank way of playing the game. I think you would have to probably make some exceptions to how the character would work, because certain things just wouldn't work if you did no dailies. Like, what if I did like Arcarium becomes a weekly and Golix becomes a weekly? You know, you can probably make some tweaks to get it to work, but yeah, a bit of a jank, unhinged idea. Banking on events to progress, that's exactly what I was thinking about. The only way that you could like get more symbols is by waiting for events. It's like literally no dailies. It does sound pretty unhinged. 30 months for a Golix pendant? Yup. Yeah. It was just something like that off the top of my head. How do I balance marriage and MapleStory? Well, technically MapleStory for me is work. It's a bit weird to say that. I know I've been doing this for a while, but it still feels weird for me to say that. MapleStory for me is work, but my wife is very understanding that that's how it works. Every once in a while, I'll tell her, "All right, give me a sec. I need to do a boss," and then she's like, "Oh, okay, have fun," sort of thing, right? It's so funny because she understands that that's code for like, okay, I gotta record some stuff and I gotta like edit some videos. That's basically what it means when I say I gotta go do some bosses. If I tell her out of my way to do something like that. No event working? I mean, my very first series was no events. I played that Paladin, my very first set of videos. No links, no legion, no event. That was actually the very first series that I made. It took me like 10 parts to get to level 200. 10 videos of me getting to level 200. Granted though, back in the day, it was a lot harder to get to level 200 because we didn't have any burnings. Burnings were a lot rarer. And I think because I did it off event, there were no things like, I couldn't use extreme growth potions. Dude, extreme growth potions back then were, you finish an entire event. You know, now, If we finish an entire event and check in every single day, we get like 3 mag pots, a bunch of EXP vouchers, so many 3x coupons, and a transcendent pot. Back then, you finish the whole event, you get 10 extreme growth potions. Those were the times when I was playing. That's when I started making videos. So manually getting to level 200 was actually a challenge. It was like a 10-part training guide. That's basically what my videos were at the time. Yeah. No event gaming is also like kind of valid. I know a lot of people, because I'm one of them. When I go into a new game, like if I try to pick up a new game, I get really intimidated by like everything happening at once. I just want to play the game, you know. I just want to pick a class, pick a character, do the things inside the game, you know, go through the story, play through the gameplay loop, and get a feel for it. Right? I don't like going into a game and then people telling me to go do the events. I think that's, unless it's just like you click one button and you get some stuff. I think that's okay. I can stomach that. But imagine playing MapleStory right now. If you're a new player right now and you make it a character. Let's say you make a not Kana or Hayato because they were remastered. There's so many things to do. There are a bunch of check-ins, a bunch of like coin shops, a bunch of like skill points that you can put things into. You have like this Victoria Island mini game. It's just like all these things happening at the same time. Maybe as a bit more of a veteran player or more familiar player, you'd be like, okay, like I know what these things are, you know, just event stats, blah blah blah. But for a new player, it's just 50 things that are just new to them that they don't want to like have to process and understand. And there's always a part of these sorts of games where you want to min-max everything, and then suddenly you have to min-max 10 things from the get-go to make the most out of the event. Hell nah. There's no way, man. Honestly, if you're a new player, unless the only thing that you really want is like you make sure you create a hyperburn, and then you figure out the rest of it later. Don't even like worry about it, right? It's just click hyperburn, pick a class that you like, and call it a day. You get to wherever you get to, you figure out the event later. Don't worry about min-maxing anything, because otherwise it's just like, yo, there's like 50 tabs open. What the hell is a sacred power, you know? What is the symbol? What is a V matrix? That's just so many things. Yeah, no, I was definitely like that too. That's why in a lot of my videos, I always try to tell people explicitly, like, look, what I'm doing is just things I feel like I need. I don't know if I'm using my resources efficiently. I say that a lot, because it's true. I don't think that deeply about the resources because I just claim them as I need them. I don't, you know, I don't wait for level 205 to start using certain resources because it's more efficient to use it at 205 as opposed to waiting until, you know, not using it at 200. Like all those sorts of things, they just go over my head. Maybe sometimes I'll care if I really have a specific goal, but it's just too much, man. It's just too much. Started 1.5 weeks before the end of the hyperburn. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, at that point, because there's so many things within the event that's happening, it's just so much to go through. Again, if you're a new player, just create the class, just go into the game. That's it. The rest of it comes later. These events are all copy and pasted, like they're all kind of the same. Let's be real. They just reskin the same things over and over again. This current event is almost identical to the previous one. The only thing different about it is that it's got a different skin and it's got slightly different rewards for the check-in. But it's basically the same thing. Thankfully in MapleStory, that's like a big benefit for new players. Like for the most part, outside of the hyperburn events, all the other events are pretty much identical. It's the same check-in, you get some free coupons, and so you got some coins to buy stuff from the shop, and that's it. Waiting patiently for Wild Hunter remaster? You know what? Me too. Me too. Reworks kinda looks nice. Yeah, it's kinda nice. I do agree. Alright, sleep time? Alright, good night, JH. Thanks for dropping by, dude. Appreciate you being a degen with me. And all my OC and C brethrens. You missed the portals? There is a rare rare times where we get like really amazing events. I think Twentina is the most recent one that people will be thinking about for quite a while. I mean, for the longest time, Night Troop was like the Twentina event. Imagine if they bring back Twentina every year, and it's kind of like how Night Troop comes back every year, and you get this like massive EXP or training event. That'd be pretty cool, but I don't expect it. What just happened? Why'd that message get deleted? Oh, thank you for the follow. Wait, that's crazy. Somebody is following on Twitch, but I'm not streaming on Twitch. You know what? I appreciate that. That means it's one of you guys on my YouTube channel that went across. Unless by sheer chance somebody just decided to follow. She's strong. Kana and Hayato are probably in the best position they've been in for years. If anything, people are complaining that Kana and Hayato are a little bit too strong. Which to some extent I do kinda agree. This character is quite good. For how little resources I put into it, it is quite powerful. With the same amount of resources, my marksman is in like a very similar spot, and this character is almost twice as strong as my marksman with similar resources. Oh, thank you for joining us, Bronze. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support, man. Didn't know you had to accept a reward from the light bulb every time. Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right. I mean, let's be fair though. Like, how would you have known? Like, if I didn't know anything, know any better, like, I would have just thought it would just be an annoying cutscene quest that would take ages to go through, right? Like, if you did Labyrinth, and what was the other one? There was another Arcane River one that came up as a light bulb. Maybe it was Celis or Esfera or something. Like, if you had to go through all of that, and it started with a light bulb, I would also have been suspicious of a light bulb. You know what I mean? I think when you first get to 250 and you get the light bulb to go through the Labyrinth of Suffering questline, that one is quite a long one and quite confusing too from what I remember. I don't know if they've made it any easier since the last time I've done it, but I do remember it being quite long. If that's your experience with quests from a light bulb, I would be suspicious every single time on a light bulb on top of my head. That is honestly 100% valid, and I do not blame you at all for like not interacting with the light bulb on your head. Love how smooth Kana is. Yeah, it does play a lot better right now. It's definitely smoother. It's a very interesting class. Actually, it really reminds me of current Wild Hunter. It's like a really smooth version of Wild Hunter right now. Hell, grinding on new Kana, it's pretty good. Because, you see all the attacks happening? I'm not pressing any buttons. All the things that are happening on my screen, I'm not pressing any buttons. Every once in a while, I'll look left and right and attack using my basic mobbing skill, but that's just to make sure that my summons are like actually not AFK. It's like, I think they have a bit of an AFK timer. But for the most part, you do AFK quite a lot. You have Dusk, which is the 6-job skill to clear a good chunk, and then your summons do the rest. Kana grinding is pretty damn good. Well, this is only me saying this in a smaller map like this one. This one's a bit more of a smaller map. I don't know how Kana fares in a bigger map, but I'd imagine it'd be similar. Like, you could probably find a way to farm lazily, even a big map. Old V-Hiller needing to go through the lab every time. Yep, you die out of V-Hiller back in the day, you go through the Labyrinth of Suffering again with all your friends, and nobody knows where they are, and they're just very confused. You can use the 2nd-job skill, 8-second cooldown. Yeah, you could use this one, right? Spinning Strike. You could. You could be really lazy. But I like pressing. I just like pressing buttons. That's just me liking to press buttons. You miss Kishin? I do miss Kishin somewhat. But I'm kind of glad that it's gone. It was a bit of bit of an imbalanced skill. Especially in a metagame that not everybody had 100% access to totems. It was a little bit unfair for a singular class to have permanent uptime. So yeah, I understand why they removed it. I don't believe their reasoning for removing it at all. Like, what was their reasoning about lagging the servers? You know, it probably was true to some extent, but that's kind of a cop-out answer. I think if they just said, we think that the skill is imbalanced, people would have been like, alright, fair. Yeah, you know what, I'm pretty happy just holding down this skill. Thank you, Scarlet. It's just fun to see the mobs, yeah, absolutely. It took a... When Kishin got removed and the totems got removed, I think a lot of us said the same thing. Oh, Maple Story is going to die. Playing this game is not going to feel good anymore because we can't farm properly. Which, it really did feel like that for a while because farming off totem can, like... We went from double the spawn to waiting for waves, right? It was a big difference, but we all eventually kind of adapted to it because what they did was they started doing a lot of quality of life things to make bossing a lot more worthwhile. So right now, our Enlomian mules can get up to 1.4 bill, and a lot of people can make them a lot easier with all the power creep and all the events they've been giving. So making Enlomian mules is extremely accessible for 1.4 bill. It started to be more time efficient to make bossing mules because before it was a lot harder to set them up because gearing like multiple characters was just a pain in the ass. Arcane dailies were significantly slower. Node stones were really annoying to get back then. Like outside of events you really couldn't have access to them, but now the events just give you like hundreds, like literally hundreds of node stones. That wasn't a thing back then. With all these changes, Enlomian mules are significantly like more profitable. Oh, back then too, the crystals were a lot cheaper. Like I think an Enlomian mule would have made close to like 850 to 900 mil. We didn't have a Ketchy. That wasn't a boss. So that's a whole like 100 mil missing. Yeah, there was a lot of things that more recently, like you don't really need Kishin in the game because the main reason why we wanted Kishin was for the money. Like people made Kana farmers specifically for the money, right? That's what it was. Because your main, you wouldn't want to train if you didn't have spawn enhancement. You just didn't want to train. But now, everyone is always training their mains. And everyone, now for money, just makes boss mules. This is a different game, for sure. You remember not knowing about Yum Yum Island? Ugh, man, I was a big enthusiast of when Reverse City was released. I thought that Reverse City was like a game changer. Meta. It was like going to be the meta training maps for like 200 to 210 because the EXP was so much better. You had burning everywhere. I remember being so excited about Reverse City. I remember those days. I still think that Reverse City is an insane place to train for those tiny levels. For anyone who was like raw leveling, but nowadays nobody does that. Wondering why Choo Choo took longer than Esfera. I'll do it. When do you think people should start making bossing mules? I think a good time to make bossing mules is just when the events come around and then you can get like Terror Burned and Hyper Burned characters that you don't plan on playing as your main. Like obviously if you make it a second main it will naturally become a boss mule. But I think that these burning events, they're not the best use. Like the best use for them would be to make characters you would actually play. I know a lot of people would encourage, you know, certain link skills, for example, or certain legion blocks. Like what's a common one? Shade. Shade has a crit damage legion block. And a lot of people might advocate for, oh, get a 260 Shade, get a 260 Mochuan. But I think the best use for these sorts of things is just to make characters you would actually play. Like who cares about the legion block? Like you'll get there eventually anyway. Like you're not gonna notice a difference of that 1% crit damage. Like if you're at that point where you're still building your account, that 1% crit damage is not going to make a difference anywhere. Just take the events, put the resources on characters you actually like, characters you think you'll play, and just gear them up nice and slowly, and you can do that whenever. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is obviously it diverts resources away from your main. So what I usually tell people is the best time to make bossing mules is when your main is happy with its node stones. That's like the first thing that I would check. If your main is, for the most part, max boost nodes and max skill nodes, max holy symbol, not necessarily max decence or like common skills, because I know some of the common skills are not that impressive. But generally speaking, if your node situation is really good, you can start putting them on your mules. Nodes are the best damage for Meso because it costs nothing to do. And it gives you so much free damage. Like boost nodes, max boost nodes from no boost nodes is a... yeah, it's a crazy difference. What time is it? Right now it is 3:40 AM for me. It's almost time for... It's almost my bedtime. I usually sleep around like 4:30 in the morning. Look, it's kind of hard to explain, but my sleep schedule is like midnight. I wake up at like midday on most days. Sometimes I do have to wake up at 6 AM, and I do try to sleep properly on those days, but for the most part I do sleep around this time, so don't worry, I'm not doing anything too crazy. My sleep schedule is like very much shifted like 6 hours forward from a normal human being, I suppose. I just wake up really late. And naturally I'll sleep later. I've been doing that for years now. So it's kind of cooked, but it's all good. If you think about it, is this stream an early stream or a really late stream? Which way is it? I think technically this is a really late stream because I didn't stream today, or yesterday rather. I usually stream, I didn't stream like 12 hours ago, which is my usual time. So technically today is a late stream. Yeah, it's a late stream. Hello, good morning. Yeah, for the US guys, or those in that time zone, it would be earlier. So someone said that at the beginning of my stream, it was about 10 AM in Canada. So it's almost noon for some people. Every stream is an early stream. Thank you, Tilda. You are right. Is your partner the same? Nope. She sleeps in a normal sleep cycle. Because I can explain sort of why. It's a bit of a long-winded story. Basically, when I was in university, I always chose the afternoon classes, so naturally I just like slept late, right? I just like slept in a lot because I would choose the afternoon classes. But because I chose the afternoon classes, it just meant that I stayed up late because I knew that I could wake up late. And when I was in university, I don't know if you guys shared the same experience, but I stayed up a lot playing video games. Like I used to stay up to like 4 AM, like around now, just playing like, I don't know. I was playing a lot of Counter-Strike when I was in university, or Dota 2. A lot of that sort of stuff, right? And I did that for years. And then when I got a full-time job, it was like the most miserable experience of my life. Because my first proper full-time job was as a receptionist. And for those 6 months, I had to wake up at like 6:30 every single day. And that was like the worst experience of my life for those 6 months. Because, well, I'm now waking up when I used to go to sleep. It was the worst thing ever. And then when I changed job into my first consulting role, it was somewhat similar, still slightly better. I had to wake up at 7:30. Ooh, big quality of life increase. 1 extra hour of sleep, right? And that was still kind of miserable because I just couldn't fix my sleep cycle because my weekends were still like that, right? Like I would sleep really late on the Friday, sleep in on the Saturday, and then sleep really late on Saturday, wake up late on Sunday, and it was just cooked. Then when it comes back to the weekend, you know, the last couple of days wasn't smart enough to sleep normally. But then the funny part was when I got into one of my roles, half of my coworkers were offshore. They were in India. So I actually couldn't even do my work until my Indian coworkers came online, which was 4 hours after, or something after I started. And then when we had the pandemic, honestly, like, there was no reason for me to be awake until noon, because that's when my coworkers logged in, and then we could do our work, because then they'll be there for the meetings and everything, right? So then when I was working full-time now, I would wake up at noon, and then I still needed to get my work done, and half of the stuff that I needed to get done had to be done out of office hours, so I actually worked 12 to 4, and then, or 12 to 5, that's when my role officially stopped, and then I would start work again at midnight, because then I have all the system resources to myself. Bit hard to explain, but it's kind of like that, right? It's like if the company shared RAM, nobody was using any of the systems at midnight. I would be the only one, so I could get a lot of work done. So I used to work 12 to 4, and then, you know, do whatever, and then 12 to 4 again. Then I did that for 3 years. So yeah, my sleep is never going to be able to change. It's just cooked. But every once in a while, I say once in a while, every Wednesday, I do an early stream. I start my stream at 7 AM my time, because I wake up at 6:30. And those days is because my wife goes into the office, and I take her to the train station in the morning. Those are the only days that I will try my best to force myself to go to sleep early, because otherwise I will be miserable the whole day. So I try to get myself to sleep at a reasonable time on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So then I can wake up early for my wife to go to work. This is like kind of coming back to the whole thing about me working or doing content creation full time. There's some things have to be changed, and that's one of them. And I used to get a lot of crap from my friends about this. They're like, dude, you work from home all day, technically. Why are you complaining about what time you wake up? You can just go back to bed. I think a lot of them didn't understand. Maybe you guys can't really relate too. Maybe some of you guys are like, oh, this guy's an idiot. He's waking up 6:30. That's like whatever. I wake up 6:30 every day. Just for a second, put yourselves in my shoes, because I usually wake up at noon, right? What if you also had to wake up 6 hours earlier than your usual sleep cycle? Would that not be miserable? Just a little bit. Like, obviously it's a little self-inflicted, but I will still complain about waking up at 6:30, given my own sleep cycle. Imagine waking up at 6:30 on a normal day, and then for whatever reason, one of the days you had to sleep at 6 PM and wake up at midnight, for just for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe I should have had a normal sleep cycle, but it's too late for that now. I'm just gonna live like this. It's a daily story. Flaya, should I level Soul Janice? At least level 1. I'd say at least level 1. If you decide to get to 280, I do agree getting more levels of Soul Janice will make training a little bit less sad. I'd say by the time you get to 280, if you had 10 levels in Soul Janice, I think it's a good spot. You can get most of the maps, like most access to the maps with level 10 Janice on most classes, I'd say. Unless your class is a particularly bad mobbing class, I don't think you need to go further than 10. It's not just 9 to 5s? Yeah, pretty much. Especially nowadays in our, I guess in our world. There's a lot of services that need to be up at weird times, and people will just sleep whenever. We're getting to the point in our world where there's so many services that we are reliant on that we don't know about, that just have to be functional at random times. I respect them. It's an early stream? Yeah, early stream. Waking up at noon is good till you have kids. I am well aware if I ever have kids, I'm just gonna accept I don't know what it's called. There's this like a kind of sleep cycle where you kind of just sleep intermittently throughout the day, rather than having a normal sleep cycle and sleeping all at once. I don't know what it's called, but one of my coworkers had that, and For him, it was like a medical condition. So you would often see him falling asleep at his table. At first, I thought it was like him being, like, is an excuse for him to be like undisturbed. Look, if the guy manages to convince people that like he needs to sleep during the day, like, good on him. He's a genius, right? But no, it turns out like he actually sleeps for like set hours throughout the day, for like one hour, but he doesn't sleep like from, I don't know, whatever time PM till 6 AM or whatever, the standard 8 hours. Like, just some people just sleep really, really intermittently for a few hours. That's gonna be me. I already know it. Because my sleep cycle is not gonna cope with a kid. Have negative sleep with the newborn. Polyphasic. Smallest phases of sleep. Yeah, I remember reading up on this. Like, there's a lot of different ways that people sleep. That was one of them. Wasn't that bad. I imagine it'd be one of those things where you do it enough times and then your body kind of adapts to it. I think for me, it's just, I'm just kind of stuck on this 4 AM sleep cycle. It's anything outside of this feels bad for me. Just doesn't work with the job. Yeah, so you kind of have to be awake for your job. Hey. Alright, how are my fams looking? It was level 5. Nice. Yeah, we'll finish this this coupon off and then we can do some fam upgrading. Do you think we can expect a Hyper Burn for the next event, either Wild Hunter Remaster or Kinesis? Yeah, we should. I think the Wild Hunter comes with its own Hyper Burn, like a Wild Hunter specific one. And for the Kinesis, it comes along with like the Hyper Burn event. I think it comes with Challenger World 3. So you don't specifically have to Hyper Burn the Kinesis, although you can. How many vac pets do I have? I'll be honest, I've definitely got a few of them. The current Kana though, this is like a free vac pet, so thankfully I didn't have to pay for this one. But I do have a few vac pets floating around on my account. I want to say at least 5, but I do not upkeep 5. God no. Okay. Is it gonna happen, guys? Are we going to see a large drop today, or am I going to be waiting for this large drop for a while? I want the large drop more than anything else right now. Unified cash shop when? Yeah, tell me about it, dude. I would love to have unified cash shop because I do have the Demon Slayer vac pets, which are the cheaper ones to upkeep. Would really like those to be the ones that can be used on all my characters. That feels so good. Is the new one only used on Nukana? No, you can make it and transfer it through the cash shop. You won't be able to put it through storage, but you can use it in the cash shop. So if you make a new Kana or new Hayato, you'll be able to cash transfer it. And from my understanding too, I think you can make a Kana or Hayato in Challenger World as well. And then you can world leap the character and then cash transfer that vac pet so you can get another 30 days. I don't know if that's true, but I saw somebody say something like that and I was like, dude, if that's allowed, guy's kind of cooking. Large drop is rare. I think it's like 1 in 100 to get a large drop. So I'm hoping by the time that I hit 275, I'll have a large drop. Hopefully. Okay, let's get these. Oh, I got excited. I got item drop 60%. I already have a 60%, so I need it to be 100. Alright. Let's try a little bit of this. I've been baited before by the percent sign, so I'm trying not to get my hopes up too high if I see a percent sign. Because it can always be like ID. Ooh, so that bottom line could actually be something. It could actually be something. That's around the right spot for boss damage, actually. Never mind. That is not that useful. 3% magic attack. It's alright. Come on. What's that? MP. It's cooked. Unless 40 boss? Nope. Not 40 boss. Did I use my rerolls already? Yeah, unfortunately I did. I mean, I did actually get some decent rerolls. No, I got a decent reroll. Where is it? I got this one today. So that's pretty solid. So technically now I have 3 damage fams. I have a 30% boss here. I have a 40% boss. And I have the attack fam. The only problem right now is that my Kana actually has pretty low IED. I think Kana naturally has low IED as a class. So I have to use an IED fam while I boss for the time being. Until I solve that IED problem, I'm going to be stuck using at least 1 IED fam. Oh, I should have changed channels. Do I give blue cards to mules or my main? Right now, every time I'm going to get these rerolls, I'm just going to use it on characters that don't have 3 damage fams yet. Once they have 3 damage fams, then I'll move on to the next character. So now my Kana has 3 damage fams, I can move on to the next character. Which I think is my Wild Hunter. My Wild Hunter only has 1 damage fam. So every time I get rerolls, I'm just going to put them on the Wild Hunter. Or maybe, it could be Wild Hunter or Hero. Both of them are valid. Although I think my Wild Hunter deserves a little bit of love. So I'll put on my Wild Hunter. Should give it a main. Pray for drop or hybrid boss fams. I mean, that's fair. I mean, I play the game very differently from a lot of people. Like for me, I don't value a main. I don't have a main. Because the way that I think about these rerolls is that on your main, you can always farm and make more fams. But you will have a group of characters that you will never farm on. Or you will farm very, very little on. In my case here, all my C10 mules. Realistically, I don't have the time to grind fams. Like, I have to be really into the character or really enjoying it. Like, for example, my Kana right now, right? Like, I'll grind fams on this character because I'm playing it. But a lot of my C10 characters, I will not grind on it. So what's the point of me getting, like, trying to min-max my main, or quote-unquote, mains fams, when I can technically just do it myself? That's how I see it. So I just put the cards on my mules. If they get gains, then great. If they hit a hybrid, then great. If they hit drop rate, great. Just don't think about it too much. I think it's particularly more beneficial for your account anyway to do that on a mule if you already have like the key things on your account. Like if you have 40, 30, 30 boss damage, there's no point using the rerolls on that character, I feel. I feel like it's such a waste. It's like, what if you got another 30% on your main? Well, that could have been 30% boss damage on a character that didn't have it originally, right? Is that not just better for the account overall? That's how I view it. Or maybe you already have 100% drop rate. Yeah, you could reroll for 110. But personally, I would be just as happy if my mule that I do C10 on also has a 110. Like, getting a 110 anywhere is not a feels bad. Like, yeah, sure, it feels kind of sad that it's not on the main, but your main can kind of eventually get there. I'm a firm believer that you will eventually just get there if you grind enough for the main. So, like, using these cheaper rerolls, they're not as valuable as they used to be, because they actually made the fam cards, like, the lines significantly better. Like getting 40% boss damage is way more accessible. Yeah, at least that's my opinion. The alternative like take on it though is like if you have legendary fam cards, you probably should re-roll on the legendary fam cards because that's just like too good to pass up. For those small number of people who have a legendary Pinot fam. I mean, you gotta re-roll the Pinot fam. What if you hit 50% boss damage? That's pretty good. Although hitting 50% boss damage is a lot less impressive now that 40-40-40 is actually like a possible chase. But yeah. I think for me though, personally, I will never feel bad about my mule hitting on fams. Like if they get good luck on the fams, I'd be happy for it. Because I will be the one benefiting. There's no world where I don't benefit from my mules hitting. Alright, what am I up to here? I got this to 4. I now need to unlock this and then Haku. Okay. Got a lot of things to work on. Did you guys end up using all the fragments that they gave you from the event? What did you guys put them on? Where did you guys put the free 150 fragments yesterday? Can't believe it's just straight up 150. That is so many. Very generous. Man, part of me wishes I went for full drop gear on this Kana right now. I'm actually farming hella on this character. Like how much drop rate am I on? 360. I think I'm 140 item. Yeah, so I could be on 366. Hexastat 3, nice. Put them on Legion champs for Hexa Sunny Sunday. Oh yeah, that is a thing, isn't it? Kind of forgot that was a thing. More into Sarah's sense skill, nice. Can't grind as much as you want. Would grind more, but you don't want to buy the perm pet. Oh, like the vac pet. Yeah, that's valid. It's quite the commitment. Alright. Let's crack some more cards. What are you guys feeling lucky? Should we go for another Scrounger or should we make some Abyssal Guards? Let's make some Scroungers. These guys are kind of cute. Hope I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing fine. I mean, it's a little late in the day for me, or really early. It depends on how you see it. So I am feeling a little bit sleepy, but that's fine. This is like my normal sleep time anyway. So we'll be able to go for 2 more uniques to round out the stream. Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of surprised there's so many people here today in this stream. There's a lot of people here. Maybe it's just like a timing sort of thing. Maybe you guys aren't able to catch the streams. This is pretty much like a full like 12-hour difference on when I usually stream. So I'm sure a lot of people here are not usually able to catch the streams. Appreciate you guys for hanging out though. Am I in New South Wales or Melbourne? I'm in Melbourne. Well, thank you for subscribing, Daniel. Welcome. For those who are hanging out in the stream, when, like, if you guys don't usually catch these streams, I do upload them if you guys want to have something in the background still. Like, they're not in like a public playlist. They're in my... I have a bunch of playlists called my past streams. So if you guys just want to have something in the background, I have all of my streams uploaded there. I did upload a stream recently. That was like the Star Forcing one. That was the exciting one. Spent 160 bill the other day. That was pretty fun. It's nice being able to just like spend all the money that you save up. I also usually do stream with my camera on, but it's like in the middle of the night, so it's kind of dark in my room. I have a lot of the lights kind of dimmed down, otherwise it's gonna hurt my eyes. It's noon right now? Yeah. Because usually when I stream at my normal times, it'd be coming towards the end of the night. So then people will tell me like they're catching my stream at midnight or something like that. So obviously not possible for everyone to hang out. But it's nice that I'm able to hang out with you guys in chat. Good mix of people who maybe don't get the chance to interact with me. It's always fun to chat with a new group of people. Yeah, as long as you guys are having a good day, that's all that matters. We're just here chilling, getting our mob kills in, trying to get this Kana to 275 eventually. I don't think I'm getting to 275 anytime soon, but you know, that's the goal. I would really like to get this character as a solo black mage, but it will take a while because I'm not liberating for at least another 1.5 months, because I didn't buy the Genetic Pass on this character. This character does not have the Genesis Pass. I already claimed that on my hero. You have a really soothing voice? Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I feel like my voice definitely depends on what I'm doing. Right now, because it's like kind of towards the end of the night, it's a little bit... I don't know what the right word is. It's less exciting. Sometimes when I'm doing things like my bosses on my Xenon, things sometimes do go a little bit wrong. You know, actually, speaking of bosses that went wrong, I asked one of my friends, Peko, to carry me hard Saren. So he offered a hard Saren carry, and it was the first time he's ever run hard Saren with me on a mule. For those who don't know, I don't really pay attention to hard Saren. I don't really respect the boss that much. And I think the run was only like 5 minutes. I was on 1 life. I died like twice in P1 and then almost died out in P2. That was like 3 days ago. When my boss runs go like that, my voice definitely might go up a few octaves. Do I have any other hobbies other than Maple? So my main hobby outside of Maple is playing card games. Right now the one that I'm really interested in is the Gundam TCG. So it's a bit more of a newer card game, another Bandai card game. If you guys are familiar with the Digimon card game or One Piece, like same company, just a different franchise. So that is the card game that I've been playing more recently, outside of Maple. What star are my arcanes and weapon? So my arcanes are all 21 star at the moment, except the weapon. My weapon is sitting at 17. I'll be leaving it at 17 until I liberate. Don't really need anything more than that. Yeah. I guess you could also call me making videos and streaming a hobby as well. I'd say that I would consider it a hobby. Well, that was my Soul Janus, just level 1. I'm gonna go for a pre-lib BM solo. If I think I can clear it and I haven't got a run in, I would do it because I kind of want the points. I would also really like to find myself a BM party somehow right now because, yeah, like I haven't cleared Black Mage. Those points will, you know, just speed it up a little bit. It's 4 AM. Actually, it's 10 past 4. Only a little bit past my bedtime. I actually usually go to bed at 4. I probably more realistically fall asleep at 5 o'clock most days. Don't worry. We were talking about this earlier. My sleep cycle is like very shifted. So usually I wake up at around noon on most days. So me being awake around this time is nothing too unusual given my usual sleep cycle. I've got that university sleep cycle. I appreciate the concern though, but don't worry, I'll be alright. Ironically, I actually find it pretty difficult to sleep any earlier than this time because I'm so used to staying up a lot later and sleeping and waking up later. So when I try to force myself to fall asleep for various activities, it's the worst, man, for me. Plot twist, I'm still in university. I mean, I have kind of considered going back, but I'm okay not racking up more student debt. BGM is making you sleepy? Yeah. I feel that. It's keeping me in a chill mood. That's kind of what I wanted. I didn't want to think about too much today. Like, this whole stream, like, I just wanted to just chat with you guys, talk about whatever comes up, and just, you know, get some grinding in. Again, like, I'm completely aware that for the most part, if you guys are in this stream here, you guys aren't really paying attention to what I'm doing. Like, sometimes you guys might pay attention if I, you know, upgrade my fams or something like that. You know, but that happens every, like, what, half an hour? So, yeah, I understand I'm most likely just a little bit of background noise, and that, you know what, that's fine. MapleStory isn't exactly the most enthralling content outside of perhaps some bosses. And of course Star Force, everyone loves gambling. Everyone loves watching me spend my money. You prefer background noise on Twitch? Valid. But not right now, because yeah, I just wanted to just chill. I didn't want to have to set up a proper stream and stuff. I just wanted to click go live and call it a day. Don't look at anything else. Whatever you see is what you get. Oh, this is not what I want to see though. Well, thank you for the $3.
Cat says, "What do you think of my duck? Duck emoji.
It is
duck
too
emoji, duck
late
emoji.
in the night.
Hezekiah lantern emoji. Sleepy
All these
emoji,
text-to-speeches, oh
sleeping
hell
face
nah.
emoji, bed emoji, bed emoji, Avidico emoji, soap emoji, pouch emoji, money bag emoji."
Oh, look, I appreciate the support, but yeah, is this what you said it was gonna haunt me? You're not completely wrong. How's the combat power on the Kana? I think in my damage gear I'm close to 70 mil. Close to 70. If this character was liberated, it'd be close to 100, I'd imagine. I'm also missing a lot of things on this character because I only did Star Forcing over the weekend. I think a lot of my gear is actually missing like a bunch of stat. Like, I haven't gotten around to doing my secondary either. I was gonna wait until Shining to do this one. So this is already a lot of like combat power that I'm missing. I think a lot of my damage gear is missing like 1 or 2 lines of stat as well. Because I got some of them to 21 stars. I think, like, for example, my slime ring got to 21 stars. And because of that, I haven't potted the ring yet. I think maybe my sup ring, maybe a pendant. I don't know. I have a lot of random things that are star forced but not potentialed. So maybe after some weeklies I could possibly do it. I think I want to do my Xenon's weeklies tomorrow, and then use that money to Star Force on my Kana. Not Star Force, sorry, cube up on my Kana. Get some cheap free damage in and then see how fast I can do C10. I think that'd be a good way to spend money. I know obviously I should be saving for shining, but I think the cubing part of it is just going to be as important. Xenon BM. I mean, if I really need the money, I should actually do it. It's a 45-minute run though. Oh no. The Xenon stresses me out, man. What channel am I in? Let's have a look. I'm on channel 25. Did they change the reset to Thursday? Yeah, it's on Thursday now. It used to be on Sunday. They made pretty much everything reset on Thursday except for the event sometimes. Sometimes the event resets on Wednesdays for some reason. I don't know. MapleStory is inconsistent like that. Pardon me. Alright guys, in 32 fragments I can unlock one of my skill masteries, W. Plenty of EXP on this character. I'm trying to think of what other things I need to actually get done. I definitely need to save some money. I think if I'm good about it, I should have for shining. Well, how many resets do I get? I get 2 resets. So if I'm good for shining, I should have about 150 bill going into that event. 150 bill. And with 150 bill, it should be enough to pretty much finish off all the RAM stuff for my account. Because I don't have that many things left I need to do. I think my issue right now with my characters actually is probably spares. Do I do the epic dungeons? I want to see if I can get to 270 on this character. Maybe I can't, but if I do, I'd like to do Angler Company for a few more frags, otherwise I'll do High Mountain. I mean, I'm in no rush to do High Mountain at the moment, but I should probably do that. That's okay, I have a few more days to think about it. I have a few more days. Is this you, Rex? This map is like pretty comfy. I'm enjoying it. And we get burning. Plenty of burning. Now, technically what I could do as well, I could do Monster Park. I haven't done MPE and my 7 Monster Park runs, but I'm honestly, I don't really like doing Monster Park, so I'm probably just gonna skip my 7 runs. The Plasma Heart upgrade module is purchasable on Challenger World and Main World, so you can get 2. I guess if your character's strong enough to do e-carling, yeah, I mean that sounds pretty good. Unfortunately, I leapt my character out of Challenger World, so it's a bit cooked. That's okay, I wasn't going to be able to solo e-carling. I don't know how to do that boss. I already struggle with that boss even when I can clear it in like 10 minutes. Yeah, there's no point in FOMOing about it. I'm just not gonna think about it too much. Min-maxing event, like just event stuff in general, is a quick way to burn out or just be really, really confused. It's not worth it. The 3 replacement is still 3 per world? Oh, really? Yeah, that is a little bit goofy. I didn't need this info. Now you have FOMO for no reason. You're welcome. It's my favorite kind of FOMO, future FOMO. Now I have to always be worried about future Challenger Worlds. Now I have to plan around my Plasma Heart module for Challenger World 3. Look what you've done. Honestly, getting FOMO about future events is something that like is also just as bad as getting FOMO in the game as it is. Being scared to do things because certain things are happening in the future is it's kind of crazy. Try not to think about it too much. Think the company's better than High Mountain? Yeah, you get more rewards for it and more EXP. It's like High Mountain gives you 1 Soul Erder, 40 fragments, and you know, some EXP. Angler Company I think gives you like twice as much EXP. Gives you 55 fragments and I think like 1.5 Soul Erder. So overall, quite a bit better. The EXP amount is quite a lot higher. And the fragments is quite good too. Like from 40 to 55, big difference. Big. Extra 15 is quite... It's pretty much like an event buff. That 15 difference. Only min-max present? Yeah, that's fair. Min-maxing the present event, I mean, it just depends on the player, right? For some people, min-maxing things is part of the fun. For me though, I'm quite the opposite. I feel like min-maxing gives me a headache. And I don't think about it too much. Seems more annoying. It actually is decently fast if you know how to do it. I won't deny that the first time that I did High Mountain, I struggled because I didn't know what was going on. But after I did it a few more times, and you start to understand how like the minigames work and stuff like that, it's actually pretty good. I'd say if you can be bothered, definitely go ahead and do Angler Company. The extra 15 fragments is pretty nice. And you honestly can go through it pretty quickly once you get the hang of it. Like, it probably is faster than High Mountain in most cases, if you know what's going on. But it does have a bit of a learning curve. I wouldn't be too like fussed about it though. Like if you really can't be bothered going through it and then doing the story, because technically you do have to do the story, you can just stick with High Mountain and call it a day. A lot of people will min-max the fun out of the game. Yeah, for sure. That's why whenever I do things on stream and whenever like I make my videos, my mindset is always, I'm just gonna claim rewards as I need them. And if it's the most efficient thing that I did, then great. If it's not efficient, well, I still kind of needed the resources, so what does it matter? I don't ever feel bad about not min-maxing my resources. I let a lot of things expire. As sad as that sounds. Sometimes I just can't be bothered. I mean, this is not even a min-max thing. Like, doing Monster Park is genuinely really good EXP. Like, there really isn't a reason for me to skip Monster Park, but I just really don't like the content. If I don't like it, I'm just not gonna do it. I will just ignore the content. I will sit here and farm all that EXP that I would have gotten from Monster Park because this is more fun to me. As crazy as that might be to some people. I know a lot of people will stomach Monster Park because the EXP is so good, but I think I would rather just not do it and then not level. Hello Sam. I am doing well. My star forcing event. I spent 160 bill, so I got a decent amount of gains across the event. Too many to list because 160 bill goes a pretty long way. Monster Park without Janice is double the pain. I agree. Doing Monster Park with Janice already for me is like I'm already lazy. Without Janice, depending on the class, kind of miserable. Ride or die? Dude, I didn't even accept the quest for Ride or Die. There were a lot of people that really wanted me to do Ride or Die because you could do the boss, it's so free. It takes you 5 minutes to solo the boss, you get free rewards. I don't care. I ain't gonna do it. I don't care if the rewards are the best things in the game. Some things I just refuse. Out of principle, I skip Ride or Die. Look, I won't judge people for doing the content or skipping the content because it has nothing to do with me. But for me personally, if I see an event I don't like, I'm just not gonna do it. It's the same thing actually with this current event. Don't we have this thing here? Let me have a look. Yeah, this thing, this new leaf. No, there's an event. I don't even see. Oh no, it's Victoria Adventure. I have not even touched this. I don't care that it gives me stuff. Like, I don't know. I just no interest. Got your TC to 20, 8 to 40 bill. You know what? 40 bill for a 20 TC. At least the TC went to 40. We'll take that. Congrats on your 20 TC, man. It's not about the costs, it's about the end result. That's all we can really hope for when it comes to star forcing, hey. I mean, it would be nice if it's also cheap, but we'll take what we can get. Oh, crap, I just got jump scared. I just heard like something run across my shed. Stupid possums in my area. Either it was a possum or there's a tornado outside my window. I'm kind of hoping it's a possum. Did I skip the Egyptian event? Oh, the pyramid event. I do remember that. I remember people being like, you could do it for magpots. I think that was the main jackpot reward. I just skipped it as well. Am I managing my rotation? There is no rotation. I summon my Oni. I hold down one key or maybe look left and right and then she does the rest. I don't do anything. That being said though, Kana does have a really weak Janus. I don't know how the formula works for Janus, but I do remember people saying that like Janus for Kana is actually quite weak. So being able to dusk farm like this might not be as easy as I'm making it out to be because my Kana does have decent farming gear, or rather its gear is like okay. My farming gear itself is like nothing interesting, right? Like I have 0 star here, 21 star here, and it's just like random stuff. But my arcanes are all 21, so that helps out a lot. No, you're not doing anything wrong. I think Kana, specifically for Soul Janus, for some reason is weak. I don't remember the reason why, but I do remember reading that it's weak. Using final damage or something? Yeah, something like that. Whatever it is, Kana's Janus is on the lower end compared to other classes. So yeah, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. Alright, just to round out today's stream, I'm probably going to end my stream after I reveal these fams, because I am starting to fall asleep a little bit. They fixed fam fusion? Yeah, they did. Thank God. It was so annoying before. I don't even know how that spaghetti code got messed up. Oh, they even like put the thing to the, like the outline, they lined it up again. Look at that. Before it was like off-centered. Now it's no longer off-center. It's correct now. Small indie company? True, true. My bad, my bad. Can't be expecting too much. Want to hear the thunk of me passing out? That's crazy, dude. Alright. Last 2 fams, guys. Yeah, decent amount of EXP. Let's see if we get anything fun here. Hoping for some large drop. Large drop, please. Alright, the top line is definitely not large drop. But bottom line can still be large drop. Never mind. What do we get? Max MP. cooked already. That could have been cool if the bottom line said HP. 19% HP is kind of nice. Okay. And then I will work on these farms throughout the day. I might as well put the 50, or like the 100 in now. If I remember and I start grinding, I'll be able to rank it up while I farm. And that'll be convenient. Okay. Is that all I needed to do? Let me quickly check my hero. Sometimes I have things that I just forget. I don't remember if I've done Golix and Arcarium on this character, because I kind of do want those. I need Golix for the coins, and I need Arcarium for the pendants still. Yeah, I have not done them. I mean, technically I don't need the drop coupon for Golix, but for Arcarium, definitely. Oh, wasn't able to clear with just Origin. Yeah, I need the coins so then I can get more sub-pendants in the future. I have a source in my backpack, so I need to farm a little bit of coins for like another 2 weeks. And Arcarium can always go with more Dom pendants. More Dom pendants are good. If they would drop. Alright. I think though, that'll be it for the stream today? I don't know. Usually I don't stream this time. I don't know how to do an outro. Yeah, regardless, appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed your time. I'll probably stream again within the next 10 hours. We'll see how I feel. And yeah, Happy New Year to those who celebrate Lunar New Year, and I'll see you guys whenever the next stream is. Take care, guys.